Chat, it's finally time to talk about the best games of 2025. Welcome to the stream. It's February, so I've had plenty of time to let all of this sit for a while, and I can make some decisions. Welcome, everybody, to the Shroomies. Now, today, it's going to be a little different than the last couple years. So I have a slightly different approach, and there's going to be less games talked about. So, you know, every other year I would just talk about every game I played, because I left out so many things, and then, you know, I would just feel bad and include them. This year, it's just going to be a little bit less. So, here we go, chat. Welcome to the Shroomies. And the winner is... Wait a minute. That doesn't seem right. I didn't even play that. Hang on. Another one? Hang on a minute. Chat, I'm having a tech problem. How many covers does this game even have? Chat, let me just... Hang on, let me boost the 3D3. Alright. Oh my god! Alright, that wasn't even... like, a good image. Really? Alright. Okay, here we go. Well, now we can begin. So the first game I want to talk about is Mega Bonk. Because, I really enjoyed it. If you know me, you know I like me some Mega Bonk. Maybe a little too much. I know some people lost hours and hours and hours of their life to Mega Bonk. I didn't, but I lost a substantial amount of time. I just thought it was the perfect mix of Vampire Survivors and Risk of Rain. Really, really, like, perfectly tuned addiction mechanics. And gameplay. You actually have to move around and jump and, you know, make decisions and, you know... I like that. So it was like a very logical step of that genre. No, this is not my #1 game of the year. In fact, none of these games are in any particular order. None of them. But this was a favorite for sure. And if you've watched my streams this year, you know that to be the case. But I had to include it even if it was an obvious pick. Kirby Air Riders I thought was really great. I didn't spend as much time with this game as I would have liked. And as I'm sure many chat members would have liked, but I could see myself coming back to it anytime, just because City Trial was so goddamn addictive. The game is also really, you know, just varietous. There's a lot you could do. There's a lot of different game modes, a million different characters, and the single player was a pretty good tour of what the game has to offer, and it had some, like, incredible cutscenes. Just because, why not? They were really well done. The story was surprisingly good, and it was just a really fun game. Just highly entertaining, very recommended. Rimworld Odyssey I have a bit of a complicated relationship with because I rimworlded myself to death in 2025. I started with Anomaly, as you know, and then went straight into Odyssey after I finished Anomaly, because it released mid-playthrough. And if you didn't watch that series, I understand. It was long. But I think Rimworld Odyssey breathes new life into the game. I think it fixes a lot of the game's kind of inherent issues by giving you some mobility. You know, you have the opportunity to go from place to place. It kind of changes everything. All the additions were great, tough, and even though I kind of abandoned my playthrough because my Simpsons died, and if you didn't watch it, don't worry about it. That won't make any sense. It's fine. I could see myself starting up a new playthrough, maybe if there's another DLC, or maybe if I'm just bored one day. It's really, really great, and it just proves that Rimworld is one of the best games, best deals. The amount of gameplay you get is insane for the price. and I love the game. And one day, I would like to finish my poster cap as my Rimworld colony, and maybe bring a character or two over to my next playthrough. But if I didn't do Anomaly first, I would have enjoyed Odyssey even more. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Now, I have the Chat Pick Award here. Also, thank you, Jazz Jen, for making these awards. These are very, very nice awards. I think Chat Pick because they kept saying, Vinny, you needed to stream this. And I was like, come on, I'm a grown-ass man. And then there's like part 7 of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And no one was fucking forcing me to play it, but chat was eating it up. I've received in the past year so many Karopies. People just keep sending me Hello Kitty stuff now. The playthroughs were really popular. And you know what? I'm gonna say it, chat. It was a good game. I thought it did some stuff that Animal Crossing didn't. Animal Crossing had better, you know, home customization and all that stuff. But I think Hello Kitty Island Adventure is a surprisingly good game. Better than it has any right to be. And, I could see how some people would, like, really get into it and, like, lose their goddamn minds over it. Especially with how well they did the characters. So, yeah, that was, just a surprise. I didn't expect to like it. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. This came out a little earlier in the year. And this, speaking of Animal Crossing, this has a lot of those kind of elements, too. In terms of, like, you make your own little island, you can farm, you customize, like, houses, but it's also an adventure game with combat, with tree cutting, with, like, fucking alchemy, kinda, with blacksmithing, and it's just really, really, there's so much to do, it's really well done. And then there's a big open world area that's just totally optional. And it's kind of Breath of the Wild inspired, but not really. With lots of different tasks and, you know, gear and stuff. It's insane how much is in this game and how much it does well for how many types of gameplay styles there are. Once again, I didn't finish it. It's huge. And I wish I did finish it. But I could also see myself coming back to it if I get bored. Thinking about it makes me want to play it. But then when I think about how much there is, I'm like, oh god. So yeah, but it was a great game and I got very addicted to it for a short while. Once Upon a Katamari. Man, it's just a great Katamari game. To me, it just solidified what's so great about the series in the first place. It didn't try to reinvent the wheel, or the sphere, as it may be. You just rolled around. There was joy. There's an inherent joy in having the king tell you to roll around various time periods, and you're, like, collecting, like, mouse traps, sardines. You're collecting people, monsters, buildings, fireworks, cheese. I don't know. Anything. It's just, there's a joy. And I really like that about it. Great music, great presentation. But if the presentation is it's kind of the same as every Katamari. This, again, really wasn't a game that you would look at and be like, wow, that's so next generation. No, it was just a good-ass Katamari game, which is exactly what I wanted. Now, that also leads me to another award. The Free 2-Week Vacation Award. Mainly because of this character, Melpertson, that I was able to make. It's okay, Bandai Namco approved. They commented on it. They had a chuckle about it. They're fine. They thought it was funny. I'm not even kidding, by the way. Yeah, they're okay with the big old pepperonis. And you know, chat, Twitch was okay with it too, because it's a strange cube creature, and it's fine. But there were some other moments that could have been a free 2-week vacation. No, I will not elaborate on these moments. If you know, you know. And there were more. Yeah, there were more. But, yeah. The VR chat roulette one. Yeah, I know. I know. Now, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, I enjoyed because it's just Snake Eater again. It's got the same voice acting. It's the same game. There's quality of life improvements. Visuals are a hit or miss. I understand the argument about the art style. I put the classic filter on, and the jungle looked particularly pissy, which was better. But I thought for what it was, it still looked good. Some characters, not so much. Some looked very good. And the gameplay was excellent. So, I liked it. I'm a Metal Gear fan through and through. Konami has been trying. They're still far from the mark in a lot of ways. I know that. And they're... And, you know, a lot of companies are not doing so great in that regard either. But I give them credit for giving some games to people. Like, hey, make a new Silent Hill. Hey, make a new Metal Gear. Or make a remake. You can't really make a new one. At least we're getting games and not just pachinko. And it made me remember how much I love Metal Gear Solid 3 in the first place. So maybe not the best remake of all time, but I'm glad it existed. I'm glad I got to play it. Cultic Chapter 2, first-person shooter, boomer shooter. You know I love me some boomer shooters. Up there with Sulaco and Dusk and game that starts with a P. Well, anyway, someone will know. Really, really good. This was, yeah, Proteus, thank you. This was part 2. Chapter 1 was also good, but Chapter 2 might have been even better. I really liked there's like a Ren Fair level, there was a mall with horror. This definitely leaned more into the horror elements. The new weapons were really fun to use. I love the visual style. The soundtrack was fucking great. The gameplay was tuned so, like, perfectly. Like, I just really got into this flow. And it never got frustrating. Yeah, there were times where I was getting my ass kicked, but I kind of knew what I had to do to get better at the game. And it was really just a fun, like, experience, rewarding to complete, and chunky shooting. Like, I swear to God, some of the shooting, you would think, like, okay, it's just 2D sprites, but it was so, like, the sound and the visual feedback from the shoot, perfect. So now we wait for Sulaco Chapter 2, which I can't wait for. What was this one? Huh. I know what this was. I know what this was, chat. Silksong. So, I put God Gamer moment, because I had a couple of them. I don't know why, but I did. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I didn't do the last chapter for a number of reasons. And I know I missed out. You don't have to tell me. I understand it disappointed some people. Even without doing that last bit, I got like 18 hours or so out of the game. And that was enough to make my list because it was just such a fun, again, challenging, rewarding game with some of the most, like well done boss fights. They were hard, but if I was able to defeat a lot of those bosses first, second, or third try, that means that they were really well designed because they were telegraphed well, like the attacks. Like, I knew what was happening, I knew how to control my character and avoid attacks and learn patterns during the fight, the first time. Exploration in Silksong, there's some stuff that I wish was a little bit better. From Hollow Knight 1, that it's still kind of that. It's good. I still didn't mind it too much, but I remember the bosses gave me less trouble than the navigation and some of the enemies that were, like, in platforming. And the world ends up being so huge that I get lost, but It's also a Metroidvania. It's fine. Just a nitpick. Presentation, I loved. I love the music. God, I love the music. I love the atmosphere of the game. And it's real. It came out and it delivered. For how long it took, it was a shock that it delivered so much. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think, is a pretty obvious one. As a Donkey Kong fan, I couldn't not include this. I got to smash, monkey smash all over the place. I got to, you know, eat banana. It was on Mario Odyssey's level, but there was also some friction that was missing from the game. Had a couple difficult moments. Also, there's just such an abundance of golden bananas. You could just, like, you can play a lot of the game and miss a lot of the stuff, which is also cool in a way. But if you do end up playing through and, like, trying to go for most of the bananas like I did, it's a great time. And I love the game mechanics. I think it's just, like, as a 3D platformer, it's I wouldn't say a full evolution of the concept, but being able to pretty much go anywhere, dig anywhere, and, like, use chunks of rock was just, it delivered as a concept. I liked it a lot. And I also liked the fuck-ass transformations, even if they looked horrifying. The challenge rooms were great. The story was surprisingly good, which was a shock. I didn't expect to enjoy the story. I even complained a little bit, like, you're not playing a Donkey Kong game for story. And then I played it, and by the end, especially at the end, I was like, oh, they did some really interesting stuff here. And then also just music, visuals, good game. Really? Mega Bonk. What? Hang on. Oh, I know. Whoa. No, this wasn't expected. Oh man, the slideshow chat. Something went wrong. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I also know what happened here. I'm gonna try to reload the page. No? Alright. Well, this was this one. I meticulously made this slideshow, and I think I just replaced some images by accident. I loved Final Fantasy Tactics. I wanted to finish it before making my list, because it was up there with my favorites of the year. The music, the story, the voice acting for this new one. I really got into the combat system. I am not abandoning this game if it's the last thing I do. I know I stopped playing some games, but I really need to know what happens. I really want to finish it. I want to get Cloud. So, next week, I will have a bonus Final Fantasy Tactics stream somewhere. The people that were watching it were enjoying it. I was enjoying playing it, so I want to commit to getting Cloud on stream. That said, it was just a game I missed growing up, and as far as remasters go, sure, I didn't play the original, but I know that this one was, like, apparently for people that played the original, it's hard to go back after playing this one because of how much stuff was improved, or, like, how much faster everything flows. And to me, that's kind of the function of a re-release, is just take what you have, don't really subtract, but just make it better to play, easier to play. And I like that it did that. And it also didn't try to reinvent the wheel of, like, well, now the visuals are in 2D, 3D. No, just slightly better versions of what's already there. So yeah, I liked it a lot. And it came with the original too, which is nice. This is the Best of the Worst award plus VDub's pick. VDub told me about this. So I watched VDub stream it, and boy did it look embarrassing. I don't know what the fuck they were trying to do here, and for a series that, like, is so incredibly stagnant, I get that they were trying to push some weird narrative directions, but the game just felt... It just felt not good. It was like, there was, like, weird vines and like plant creatures. strange, half-baked open world ideas. I don't know. This doesn't feel like a Call of Duty game at its best, which, again, there's been so goddamn many of them, I can't really even tell them apart anymore. On a personal note, usually when I get a code for the Call of Duty games, which happens every year for some reason, I play multiplayer just for fun, because I used to back during World at War and Modern Warfare days, and I played those games a lot, had fun with them. So the past 10 years or so, when they give me a code, I play multiplayer, maybe like, I don't know, 10 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, and it's fun for a little while. This one, I didn't touch the multiplayer once. This is the first time I didn't even bother. Like, you gotta give it a rest, man. Vinny, you showed the wrong game? Wait, really? Which one are, wait, which one is it? This isn't a bit, oh my god. Chat, okay. Newest Call of Duty. Oh. No, that might be on me. Here you go, chat. Amazing. I really didn't even notice because it's just, I forgot. I didn't play all the Black Ops games anyway. So yeah, not really my favorite experience in gaming by any means. V-Dub might have liked it though, I'm not sure. Now, listen, chat, this was 100% an error. What happened was this. I replaced images, and I thought it would just upload them to Google Drive for Google Slides, right? No. Images got replaced. The Expedition 33, I've never played. I swear, it's not... No. Here is the game. This was supposed to be the game on there. Hack and Slash Fury. So, when I was doing the Expedition 33 bit, it fucking replaced the image. So, I don't really have much to say about this. It's a joke award. I mean, there's probably a lot more. And if you want to just talk about stream moments, there's a lot of those. How I Became a Freak didn't even come out this year. I just played it. And Hack and Slash Fury, I think, came out this year. And I would recommend watching a video of that. Because it's something special. It's truly astounding. Again, chat could probably come up with a couple more. Alright, honorable mentions. Here we go. Couple honorable mentions. Real quick. Silent Hill F, I really had a good time with in short doses. I think the game got patched to fix some of its pacing issues with some of the monsters while I was playing it. Or after I got finished playing it. I think both even. But for what was there was some really, really interesting stuff. I got kind of invested in the story. And some of the music was really great. Some of the visuals were really cool. I thought there was a lot to enjoy about Silent Hill F. It didn't fully satisfy as a Silent Hill fan. It didn't fully hit the mark for me. But I will remember it, and I'm glad I played it. I only kind of wish that I played it after that patch. That might have made my experience a little bit better. And also starting on hard mode was a mistake. But still, good game. I'm glad Silent Hill is trying some different things, and I hope that they can keep that going. Because that would be, you know, a game that could be on that level, but maybe more Silent Hill-y. I know that's, you know, what is Silent Hill really? It's in your heart is what it is. Ball X Pit was really fun. I played it recently on stream for the update. Just another good version of the roguelite Vampire Survivor, but with like town building. And in this one, you actually have a lot of gameplay autonomy, which is kind of fun. It's kind of like a breakout type game. I just thought it was good. Aesthetic, music, everything. Just really well put together game. Blueprints almost made my top 10, but in that case, that was like a top 11, whatever it was. I liked Blueprints a lot. I think it probably deserves to be up there with some of the better ones of the year. But what I liked most about it was the weird board game-like drafting mechanics. And I guess what I liked least about it was how lucky you have to get to make progress, which is also part of the thing I liked about it. However, I really liked the fucking mood of the game so much, and like uncovering the mysteries, and I didn't get all of the story elements, but I liked it a lot, and I liked the soundtrack was fantastic. I use it now for some stuff. Great game. Mario Kart World, the discussion for Mario Kart World has turned into it's loaded. It's loaded, and when I think about the game, I think it is a good game that probably was slightly undercooked, but also bloated at the same time. And its main gimmick is totally fine for like 10 hours for me. And then after that, I guess I just want to play the game and just race around. There's a big update that I haven't played, to be fair, that fixed a lot of those interstitial tracks and improved them, added more things. It's weird because with those interstitials, this is like over 100 courses that you could play. And then a giant open world, which the open world was cool. I liked seeing all the stuff, but I feel like if you're going to do that, it needs more interactivity. I kind of just feel like it needed more things to unlock that weren't just stickers. Unlocking characters in Mario Kart World was real dumb. The trick system was fine, and some of the levels were astoundingly good, and some were just kind of okay. They just kind of were there. Good game. One of the best soundtracks ever, but I think it just needs to continue to gestate. Maybe Nintendo will continue adding stuff to it like they did with Mario Kart 8. But if we're talking like dollar for dollar, Mario Kart 8 on the Switch in its final form is better than World. So I had fun with it. I will return to it. That's a guarantee. Yeah. System Shock 2 Remake is a game that I played for the first time. I never played System Shock 2. And the remake didn't change too much. Again, just some quality of life. It preserved the original. I'm putting it in honorable mentions because if I had played it in the late 90s or early 2000s, it would have been maybe an all-time favorite. But having played it recently, I just thought it was awesome. And a phenomenal video game. So I guess it could very easily be a favorite of the year, but I just figured it's a remake, and it didn't affect me as much as Final Fantasy Tactics. Maybe that game just kind of hits me a little bit more in the I don't want to say nostalgia. Oh god, I don't want to say that because I never played it. But I think that one worked for me a little bit more than System Shock. But System Shock is great. I don't know what else to say about it. Maybe that immersive sims are something I'm more interested in now, having played it. Oblivion Remaster is, it was fine. But thinking about it, I don't know if it belongs on the list. Because it ended up, aside from the performance issues and the Unreal Engine stuff, and the glitches and everything, it ended up being a frustrating experience, and it got, let's say, halfway through my playthrough, it started feeling like a chore to boot it up. And I remembered that's the old Bethesda magic. And I think I'm just over it. I think I have fun with the games for a little while, and then I just get a little bit sick of them. However, Oblivion has great storylines for the side quests, really great characters like voice acting, Sean Bean, Patrick Stewart, I love all that stuff. The world is really cool. I love that shit too. You know, music. So much to like about Oblivion, and the remake did a reasonably good job at it, but it also was just getting really boring for me, and the combat just started to feel like nothing. So, the new flesh is just totally a bias pick to fill out the space to make it even. Sorry about that. Death Stranding 2, I was surprised at how much I liked it. I'm genuinely shocked. I played about 8 hours, maybe a little bit more. Kojima's Wild Ride is not always for me, and the first game didn't really do anything for me, but the second one, I think it just started a little bit better, maybe. And as I did more and more missions, I kind of saw what was going on, and the gameplay loop, it was good. And the visuals were really nice, music was nice, aesthetics were all amazing, especially the fucking scenery. So, while I didn't play very much of it, I wanted to include it because it was genuinely a great game that it clicked. I got it. No, I'm Not a Human. Really, I think about that game once in a while. It's just a good fucking weird, like, I don't know. It just, you gotta determine whether or not someone's a human. And that's it. And there's a bunch of freaks, and it's depressing and dark and fucking strange, and the gameplay is kind of original. Different playthroughs are possible. I liked it. And In a Dream Barbecue is a game that may have made my list because it's a weird first-person walking simulator game, and I already like that. The fact that I played Dracula is, of course, going to affect my choice here, 100%. But chat probably would have been like, Vin, you should play this game. It would be perfect for you. And they did. In fact, people that didn't know I played Dracula were recommending it like crazy. So I probably would have still enjoyed it. It's like perfect. 2 streams, 4 hours. Strange visuals, and I don't know what the fuck is happening in the story. I don't know what's happening with the characters. Maybe other people do. But as just someone who was there to witness it all, it worked. And it didn't drag on in any real way. Like, it just kept taking you from interesting area to meet new freaks. And it was like perfect Vinesauce streaming. Really cool game. Now, chat, you may notice there is one more game missing. Expedition 33. No. This game, I don't know what more to say about it. I streamed all of it, and it wasn't as bad as people said. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It was like the most 7 out of 10 game I've ever played. If you want my full thoughts, it's probably the ending of the game when I talked about them. So I'll just kind of reiterate. I really hope Retro gets to make another Metroid game. Since I played the game, it's been revealed some of the stuff that went wrong. They couldn't restart development. I think they knew they had some stuff that wasn't working, but they just had to keep going because they sunk so many resources and so much time into it. But aesthetically, when it wasn't that big empty desert, which was a total misstep, it was beautiful. And the team still has it. But also, it was incredibly, like, linear in so many spots. Because the desert connecting all the individual locations ended up being the part that was open world, and it was not good. So, I think if they do another Metroid Prime, apparently it sold over 1 million. I don't know how true that is. But if they do another Metroid Prime, they have a lot of talent. Now it's time to go and figure out how to recapture that feeling of Metroid Prime 1 and 2. And even 3, which I would like to play at some point again. And I didn't hate Miles McKenzie so much. He became kind of weirdly endearing. It's just they didn't... there wasn't so much of him until they forced you to go talk to him, and then, like, he would call you. The characters were either forgettable or just kind of a little annoying, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore. But then they made character, like, the big end, the finale was so character-driven, and it just did not pay off. It was unfortunate, because I did like so much of it. I liked a lot of the gameplay, I liked some of the boss fights were great. When it was good, it was really, really good. So, anyway, I just wanted to include this as a special honorable mention, because it just kind of annoyed me at how much better it could have been. So, that's my game of the year list. Everybody, thank you for watching this. I don't know. I usually go for a very, very long time. You know, when I stream a lot of games that didn't come out the year I play them. I also play games maybe once, twice. There are games that I play that might have been left off this list by accident. But I'd say 2025 was a reasonably good year for some games. There were some really great indie games, of course. There was the Switch 2, which had some and some and it also had you know, we got some pretty good re-releases, and in terms of the bigger games that everybody's losing their minds over at Game Awards, I just didn't play Expedition 33. You know, the Pokemon game I played, not that that's a contender, but it's just I played it for like a couple hours. Why no Night Rain? Night Rain didn't do anything for me. I played it with the guys, Stir and Germ, for a couple hours. They got into it, I didn't. I really didn't think that multiplayer Elden Ring that was outsourced would work for me, and maybe it didn't. I think, I don't know, just didn't work for me. Maybe if I gave it more of a chance, but I don't really know where to put it on the list, because I just didn't play it more than once. Not outsourced? Oh. Gotcha. Duskblood's tomorrow. Well, there is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. It's a partner Direct. There's a chance we may see Duskbloods. Tomorrow might be an interesting day, because on the Switch 2, there's so many things that maybe could go wrong. And I don't mean to be doom and gloom about it, but this year doesn't seem particularly packed for Nintendo releases. I'm still waiting for the big Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2. If I were to do a year in review for Switch 2's launch, it was okay. It was okay. It was fine. You know, I like the system. I like to hold the system and play it more than I do the Steam Deck or the Asus, because it's just really well made and ergonomic. I think Donkey Kong was great, Kirby was great, Mario Kart was good. It was an okay launch year. It wasn't anything that blew my mind. It was no Switch 1. It was no Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, but it was still pretty good. This year, there's a couple things I'm looking forward to, as I'm sure many would be, but we still need to find out what they've got for the anniversaries of, like, Zelda, for example, if anything. And I don't know, we'll see, but tomorrow's about 30 minutes of Partner Direct. So do we get Duskbloods? Do we get DMC 5? What other things? Are there going to be any crossovers? Like a, you know, what was the game, chat? It was Cadence of Hyrule, that's the one. So, we'll see. And, as for 2026, Resident Evil soon, you know, Pragmata. There's going to be, I guess, some other stuff that I can't think of at the moment. What else do we got coming up, chat? Mugenics in like a week, which I can't wait for. Slay the Spire 2. Romeo's a Dead Man. which is I'm kind of interested, but we'll see. Oh yeah, Tamagotchi. Onimusha. Capcom's got 3 fucking big releases, man. We're hoping to get Metroid to you. Which, that's fine. Alright, well, listen, chat. Now I will play games instead of talk about them. So, thank you. And no, High Guard was not on the list, I'm sorry to say. Trust me, I wanted to include it, but my download slowed down, and I was like, ah, that's a shame, and I just stopped. But it was a pretty good year for games, and it was a good year for streams, too. I enjoyed streaming in 2025, without doing a full recap. Just a lot of dumb shit, a lot of fun streams, a lot of good multiplayer. I'm sure the best of 2025 video is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm grateful I got a chance to play as many games as I did that were actually really good, and people were willing to watch Mega Bonk, for example, and many hours of Rimworld. So let's hope for a good 2026. Thank you. Amen.